Namaste, I am Avnish. I hail from India, the state of Bihar. Welcome to Spotlight, our podcast series under Nalanda Dialogues. So, today the spotlight country is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, it was the first developing country to successfully control the population growth. So population growth, even developed countries, they have had a difficult time controlling their population. But Sri Lanka, despite its economic challenges, was the first developing country on earth to actually control its population. And to your utter surprise, Sri Lanka was the first country in the region to actually liberalize its economy. By liberalization, we mean that a greater say for private sector in different realms of the economy. And to discuss more about Sri Lanka, its society, culture, its tourism, its economy, everything, we have with us Neelu. Neelu has pursued her masters from Nalanda University, and she will be throwing some light and giving us deep insights into the different facets of Sri Lankan society, culture, economy, tourism, etc. So Neelu, welcome to the Spotlight, our podcast series.
Hi, Bon.
So is that okay if we start off right away?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Or would you like to introduce our audience about yourself?
Yeah, yes. I'm Nilu Gunatunga from Sri Lanka, and now I'm living in a great country, which is the biggest role model to whole Asia. It is India, and I'm studying in Nalanda University. I hope this will be fine, right?
So Neelu, the first question that comes to our mind when we think about Sri Lanka is its beautiful landscape, its beautiful mountains, its coastal regions. So what is that one place in Sri Lanka that you would like our audience to visit?
Yeah, Vinash, actually right now I'm hugely missing my country, so I will explain a little bit. Sri Lanka is the main tourist attractive country in South Asia, if I'm not wrong. We have a huge crowd. Annually we get the same family from the same countries, and it's growing up all the time unless we have some crisis issues. So I would suggest in this way. We have some ancient important places, and we have some natural beauty we have in upcountry. So if someone comes to enjoy nature, I would suggest upcountry, Nuwara, Hatton, Badulla, that's all. And if I need to tell about ancient cities like Kandy, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Sigiriya, Dambadaniya, those are very important, and you will learn a lot of things if you visit, I must say. And also in the upper part of the country, Jaffna, Mannar, Trincomalee, we have Trincomalee is the world largest natural harbour we have.
Wow.
So you can visit Nila Valley and all. And also we have many Hindu kovils, Hindu temples, and the rituals like in your country, it's happening in Sri Lanka also. So I would suggest you can visit as you wish. All the things are available in Sri Lanka right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for such deep insights. So yeah, as you said, this entire region was one cultural entity. Now it's up to us human beings that where we draw that boundary between two places. But as a cultural entity, we are one.
Yes, of course.
Neelu, so could you please tell us something about the Sri Lanka's freedom movement when it got its independence? Because when we were doing some research, we found that most of the countries in South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they were freed roughly around the same time.
Yes.
So if you could please throw some light on the freedom struggle of Sri Lanka.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Avinash, we were colonialized for
Yeah.
some time. Actually, not for some time, for years we were. And there are pros and cons that we got from this colonization. Of course, after 1 year later that you earned your independence, we got. That was 4th of February 1948.
Okay.
So it was marvelous to have our independence. I was not born at all,
Yeah.
but as history says, local people have fought a lot to gain this independence for us.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. So, I mean, independence is something which cannot be equated with, any other entitlement.
Yes, of
Like having your own flag, it is like your own unique identity.
Yeah.
So yes. We also came across this fact that earlier Sri Lanka was called Ceylon,
Yeah.
and later on it was changed to Sri Lanka. So, what does the Ceylon mean, and why this changed to Sri Lanka? If you could please
Yeah,
explain.
in some part of the world, still we were identified like Ceylonese.
Yeah.
They don't say Sri Lankans. The reason behind that, when British people came to Sri Lanka, they identified our country as Ceylon. Before that also we had some particular names for our country,
Yeah.
but Ceylon was the most popular name.
Okay.
Then till we gained our independent 1948, it was Ceylon, and you won't believe after that also.
Yeah.
Till 1972 we were Ceylon, and then 1972 somewhere around in May we gained our opportunity to enter the Commonwealth countries, so that we were named as Sri Lanka.
Okay. So yeah, thank you so much. So it was 1972 when
Yes.
the name Sri Lanka came
Yeah.
into being. Yeah. So you have spent a decent amount of time in India as well.
Yeah.
So what are the cultural commonalities and similarity that you see between Indian and Sri Lankan society? Because as we just discussed that sometime in the past we were one cultural entity. So, but if you could explain to our audience, like what are those similarities that you see?
Yeah, when I come here, actually I could not know that this much of relationship that we have, cultural, historical, we have it was like we were the younger brother of India for some time. Still we have that connection, I feel so. For example, if I tell you, when I'm learning, studying in my class, when I'm engaging with my professors, what I feel like, they have lot of references to Sri Lanka, maybe historical, maybe current issues. Obviously they are not talking about issues, but current importance. So it was amazing for me to feel that proud feelings that they are talking about our country, and they value Sri Lanka. You know, most of the people here, they say Sri Lanka. I love that tone. Even it is Sri Lanka, they say Sri Lanka. They tell it in their whole heart. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, India, for that. And you're asking me cultural similarities, right? I would say this. Even the dress, we wear Indian sari. I was a teacher in Sri Lanka, so I used to wear Indian sari. And when it comes to food habits, there's a slight difference. But the staple food is rice here also. And apart from that various kind of roti and all, but we have your favorite dishes like tandoori chicken, then biryani. Everything is available in Sri Lanka in Indian taste also.
Yeah.
And also the important thing is our people have converted it into Sri Lankan taste
Wow.
as well.
Yeah.
So India is like our right hand, I must say. And people from Sri Lanka, they love to visit India, especially Sri Lanka has this Buddhist background,
Yeah.
so that they come to India. They are very eager to come and visit this place, Rajgir, Bihar, Bodh Gaya. They love that.
Yeah.
So cultural similarities comes with food, then historical concepts like once I told you, right, when we were having a casual discussion, Guru Nanak has visited our country, and before that when Ashoka dynasty was there, we had very close relationships, and when it goes to southern part of India and Sri Lanka, we had very close things like Pattini Devi. Here it's called something else, I must say, but Pattini Devi is someone who came from India to Sri Lanka. We really observe her, we value her, we do sacrifices for her.
Yeah.
For example, if infant born in one place, that we call it as bar, Kiriyamma Dana. So we do that. That has come from India, obviously, southern part of India. So we have lot of similarities. Food, maybe dress code, maybe the worshipping observances and all, because we have Hindu community, around more than 20% Hindu community we have in Sri Lanka. So everything, almost everything, I think we can find similarities.
Yeah, great inputs on that. So that brings me to the next question for our beautiful audience. What is that one food from Sri Lanka that you would like our audience to taste?
One food, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. You must try Sri Lankan jackfruit. Yes.
Jackfruit.
Yeah, it has various kind of, the first thing you have to try is baby jackfruit curry. We say polos, Sri Lankan polos curry. Perfect.
Yeah, so the audience, next time you visit Sri Lanka, so that is what you must try.
Apart from that,
yeah.
Avinash, give me 1 second. Apart from that, Sri Lankan hoppers, string hoppers, then we have kottu, which is really originated from Sri Lanka. You must try that. And also rice and curry. Sri Lankan cuisine is something that amazing. You must taste it.
So dear audience, the list is long now. You need to pause this video, then write it down before you visit Sri Lanka. Yes, Neelu, so we also came across this very interesting thing about Sri Lanka's social sector. So it is said that the education system in Sri Lanka, it is free, right? And it is of very top-notch quality. Because normally what we tend to believe is if something is free, the quality is compromised. But Sri Lanka is an outlier in this case. So the education system is free, and it has maintained its quality as well. So please explain it, especially for the marginalized sections of the society who cannot afford high-priced private education, how the system works in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, actually educational reformations have been done quite long ago. We must thank CWW Kannangara first. So he did a marvelous job for this free education and all. And he thoroughly said that the education system must be given in mother tongue. That was the first privilege we found in Sri Lankan education system. That doesn't matter for this English-based education system, that also going on. But it was like we get our insistence to do this education in our mother tongue. You have felt it like I'm privileged to have that education because I was a government student when I was schooling. So education is totally free in Sri Lanka. I will not say that it is the best education system in the world, but I must say it has some quality. It has a background, okay? So in that case, we have both English medium and Sinhala medium education in government sector. It is giving freely, no any cost,
Exactly,
right? But apart from that, We have a network of privatized schools as well. If you feel like the school timings are not good, if you feel like you need your child to learn foreign syllabus and all, so you have that focus as well, but make sure that you have to remember there's nothing differed. I mean, only the syllabus will be different, but the culture, the attitudes, objectives, quality, everything similar like in government sector. So education is totally free and it is doing a huge, marvelous job to Sri Lankan community.
Yeah, so I know women empowerment especially, Sri Lanka has been a leader, I won't say just in the region but in the world, because Sri Lanka was among the first countries on earth to have female head of the state.
Yes.
So, and that is not possible without education, without a robust education system. So, yes, really deep insights on that, Neelu. Do you watch cricket?
Of course.
So, I am reminded of the 1996 World Cup. Sri Lanka were the champions. And Sanat Jasuria was on fire. Like he used to score a century in almost every match. Arvind De Silva, Rana Tunga. So, like, how is the fan following for cricket in Sri Lanka?
We have a nice fan base for cricket in Sri Lanka. Today also, you know, we were undercounted by New Zealand today. But of course, Sri Lankan fan base really enjoying cricket. They need cricket matches. They need to enjoy that. But actually, I was born in 1992. I cannot remember the real scenario of World Cup, but obviously, I have watched the experiences and the interviews done by those captaincies and other players from the team. So what they are telling is they had a huge unity and a plan. Okay, I'm not telling that the plan is not existing now in the team. They are doing a really great job, but I think the captaincy of Arjuna Ranatunga, if I'm not wrong, it was great at that time. Obviously, he was leading his team, and he was managing his bowlers and batsmen nicely. That's why they won that, right? But recently we won one cup. I think it's Asian, right? Asian Cup we won, the Sri Lankan team. Thank you for them, and they are gaining day by day. And the fan base is amazing because they don't feel sad when they lose. What they are doing is they do encourage the team. Okay boys, next time you can try. Don't worry, next time you can try. That was their intention. There are people who are just, oh my god, what happened? Why you all are not playing? That is there. But when we take the whole group of cricket fan base, they are really encouraging the team.
So yes, that's what is needed, right? So I mean, even the players, they are demotivated when they lose, but then that's when they need support of their fans. And I mean, it is really great that the fans are actually supporting in the tough times. So yeah, that's very great. So we have discussed about the education system. So I mean, you know that I mean, many people who graduate out of the education system, the next goal for them is to get a job. So I mean, how is the job market there in Sri Lanka? Like, what is the most sought after career prospects? Because in India it is like civil services. So though it is gradually changing now, but like if you could please enlighten us on how things are in Sri Lanka.
I think Avinash, it's quite similar, I guess, like India. Right now, of course, we have job market crisis. I must say the truth. But you know, last few decades we have seen that the youth, of course, the graduate people from government universities or else foreign universities, they have tried to earn kind of an entrepreneurship without targeting the government opportunities to join the civil service and all. But there are two groups. The people who are coming from middle class families and all, they do target to find a job in the government sector because they were pushed to.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Through their family, through their background, they were pushed to have that opportunity. Obviously, fine. They are getting that opportunity and they must get it because they are dedicating their time, they are dedicating their parents' money, and obtaining a degree from Sri Lanka is not an easy task at all.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to sacrifice a lot of things.
Exactly.
So that one hand, it's public service. The other hand, we have a thread of private sector companies and all. So nowadays, the young generation is targeting on commercialized things. So they are joining there also. And the other thing, now these days, what our youth is looking for is foreign job opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So yes, you were very right. Like even we came across this point that getting a degree is difficult in Sri Lanka, but once you get a degree, finding a job is not that difficult. It is very likely that you will land up in a good job once you get a degree. Yeah. So let's now talk about an unfortunate incident, the 2004 tsunami. Thousands of people were killed. So, and these natural disasters are like, for no actual fault of them, people end up losing their lives. Many women were widowed, many children were orphaned. So, how was it like in those days? Do you have some memory of that tragedy?
Yeah, yes, it was a tragedy for me actually. I think if I'm not wrong, I was in grade 8 or 7, I guess. And when I heard the news from the television, it was 26th of December 2004. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So soon after the Christmas, you won't believe, I have a few uncles, they were not at home. You know where they were? They have gone for trips. Of course, towards coastal area.
Yeah.
So from the southern part to Kataragama, and some people were at the hotels of beach hotels, of course, because it was the season time in Sri Lanka. Lot of tourists were there, and school vacation also. So you know, families going on trips.
Yeah.
It was soon after the Christmas. Christian people go to visit the other families. So almost everybody near coastal area, like from west to southern to eastern, those coastal area was attacked by this, destroyed by this tsunami. So people were outraged all the time. That's why we had more than 30,000 of death confirms from the government calculations. So it was a terrible experience for us to look. Actually, it was terrible. I mean, when I see the news on the TV, I can remember. I can't remember where the place exactly, but there were 5 to 6 girls holding their hands. They were trying to save themselves, right?
Yeah,
but the waves were so hard and harsh. The whole ring was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, they are like in my age. So we lost many people.
Yeah.
Of course, the tourists and adults. Okay. Then there were films, there were short stories, novels were written about this disaster. You can imagine how it affected us, right?
Yeah. So yes, those were really difficult days for this entire region.
Yeah.
So all the countries in the vicinity of the oceans, they were very severely affected.
Yeah.
But there was one ray of hope that in the post-disaster scenario, it has brought especially India and Sri Lanka much more closer. because both the countries have together devised ways to predict tsunami so that the damage is
Yeah.
prevented.
Yes, so
Yeah.
far until today,
Exactly.
from India we get the news like, yes, you have a threat today. You have to announce that to your country.
Yeah.
Likewise, so India is almost our best friend, I would say.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so another thing we came across was like the problem that teenagers are facing in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
You would be a better person to comment on the scale of this problem, but we came to know that mental issues like depression is slowly taking its root in Sri Lankan society, which was not known in Sri Lanka society a few decades back.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
like, what do you think is the root cause for these new kinds of hitherto unknown problems that have started to plague the Sri Lankan society?
Yeah, you're correct. True enough to identify that issue in Sri Lankan society. But if you observe last few decades with this COVID-19 pandemic,
Yeah.
if you observe the quantity of depression and other mental disorders that people are facing all around the world,
Yeah.
it has been increased.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that effect, I mean, that cause has come to Sri Lanka in that way. Maybe the pandemic,
Yeah.
but I understand there's something behind that also. You know, few years back we did not few decades back we did not have this smartphone society, and networks were not much
True.
improved, right? At that time, but Sri Lankan people they were great readers. They read a lot,
Yeah.
and people were engaged with literature. But nowadays what's happening is, I feel like, this is something personal I'm telling, the people are really distracted from their reading sources and from literature because of the social media and the other social networks available on them. Right? That is one reason. And nowadays there are some discussions, virtual conferences having like, because of the crisis that we are facing right now is the root cause of these mental disorders and depression, but it was before as well. When people were engaging with network and when people are facing this COVID-19,
Yeah.
it was exactly there.
So yes, I mean, it's not like it is unique to Sri Lanka only. This problem is gaining epidemic proportions across the world. So I hope the earlier we diagnose and address this problem, the better for humanity in general.
Yes.
But I am sure that countries like Sri Lanka and India, with a deep cultural history and tradition, and with a strong sense of identity, they are better placed to address these issues.
Yeah, of course.
So the next question for our audience: what is that one product from Sri Lanka which you would like our beautiful audience to must try?
Okay. We have so many. So I have to think a little. Okay. Is it needed to be natural? Or
Anything is okay.
Okay. You must try Sri Lankan king coconut. I would say.
King coconut.
Yeah.
So audience, there you go. The next time you visit Sri Lanka, king coconut is what you must try.
Yeah, and Sri Lankan mangoes, very tasty.
Oh yeah, so you have another item, mangoes, that you must try when you visit Sri Lanka next time.
Okay.
Neelu, so is that okay if we talk about marriage as a social institution in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, of course.
So as any society develops, the different social institutions, they also like change their form and structure. So it's not like they disappear all of a sudden, but they change their nature, and the same applies to marriage also.
Yes.
So with modernization, like as we discussed, like one problem that has happened is those mental issues among youths and teens. So how has this institution of marriage reacted to the development of Sri Lankan society?
Yes, there's a development, I
Yeah.
would say, because my parents, they were married with a proposal, you know. Proposed marriages were very popular in Sri Lanka when it was 20th century, like, okay. But when we reached 21st century, the culture of marriages were very different, because it was not actually proposed marriages. Most commonly, it was love marriages. You know the reason for that? The society, the percentage that people exposed to the society was increased in 21st century, rather 20th century. That might be the reason.
Yes, so I mean Sri Lanka is no exception to these changes that are sweeping across the region.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, I would request the parents through this podcast that please don't judge your parents or be harsh to them just because your children are not conforming to the same social standards that you adhere to. Like spend time with them, discuss with them, and find a solution amicably so that it does not become a problem for you or for the children. Neelu, so I mean, the Sri Lankan society in general has so many unique traits that we can continue this podcast for hours, and still the list will be unending.
Yeah.
But in the interest of time, we will take one final question.
Okay.
Please tell us about the film industry in Sri Lanka. Is Bollywood popular there in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, of course, Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, very popular in Sri Lanka. Nowadays, Shah Rukh Khan's movie Pathan, right?
Yeah.
It was very popular. It is right now. Film industry nowadays, the filmmakers, directors, and the crew, they are looking for some radical but realistic issues rising through the society, Sri Lankan society. You know, there's a saying that truth is bitter. So they are going to reveal the truth through this art form, I would say. And we have, I mean, historically valuable films, as well as social pros and cons were presented through films. They are really, really important for improving young generation, not only in Sri Lanka, I would say. Those who are interested about Sri Lankan history, Sri Lankan social system, family system and all, they can watch the movies and get an idea how the tradition was and how people are breaking the tradition and moving forward with this globalization.
Yeah. So yes, truly that I mean movies, especially in our region, it is not just a mode of entertainment. It plays much wider role than just entertainment. So Neelu, thank you so much for giving such deep insights on different aspects of Sri Lanka. What normally happens is for developing countries like us, right? The outside world knows about our society through what the developed countries portray us.
Yeah.
But I am sure that podcasts and interactions like these will give a different perspective altogether to what our region, our society is like. So I am sure that our beautiful audience got to know about many of those dimensions that were hitherto not covered in the prominent platforms. I hope you have made a note of all those lists that Neelu dictated in terms of places to visit, food to try, and products to explore. Thank you so much, Neelu. Any concluding remark that you would like to make? Please feel free.
Yes, once you are concluding, I got some memories. Yesterday, I was reading one article
Yeah.
from a foreigner. It was a free platform to comment about Sri Lanka. As that person has commented, I understood that he is giving very wrong picture about Sri Lanka.
True.
Because people in Sri Lanka, they are really good in their attitudes. They do serve the foreigners in such a good way. So and also, even though we are facing some crisis, but it is not a matter for people to go and live in Sri Lanka. But you have to earn, you have to work, you have to have objectives. Then only you can survive in Sri Lanka at this time. Okay, but the mental relaxation, the pure air, you will enjoy a lot. I would say Sri Lanka is a good country to live even right now. I recommend that. But of course your living cost will be a little bit high because of the crisis. But it will be almost okay after some time. You should have that courage if you are planning to settle in Sri Lanka. And I would say thank you, and this was a great opportunity for me to speak about my motherland. It was really respect. Okay, so thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best to carry on these type of fruitful discussions in near future as well. Thank you.
So yes, Sri Lanka is going through tough times, but so did India a few decades back. But I am very sure that together we will fight this issue as well, and we as a region, we as a common cultural entity, we will come out strong. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Thank you, audience.